Makeover madness today. Well, laser treatment is becoming very popular in cosmetic procedures, and today our videographer Patrick checks out getting a tattoo removed.
Melanie, why are you having this tattoo removed?
Basically, I'm kind of just sick of it. It's a little more masculine and bigger than I had hoped it to be when I originally got it done.
Right, but have you ever thought of, in terms of when you get older, you may not want to have that, or is that...
Yeah, that's a big part of it also. Like, I'm thinking, like, down the line, like the road.
Yeah.
I was thinking at the time when I was getting it more for just fun. When a bunch of us went and got tattoos. And now, getting older 3 years later, I'm thinking, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have got it there.
I see, I see.
So there'll be a little bit of bruising and crusting, Melanie, and then you want to just wash with soap and water. The energy from the laser comes down the arm and onto the skin and actually delivers the type of energy that explodes the pigment. It actually causes a photoacoustic effect, so that you can see the pigment fading away right before your eyes.
Now, I notice it is turning white.
Yes.
Why is that?
What happens is there's a little frosting that occurs on the skin as the laser energy attacks the pigment. And what happens, it forms a little frosting like you would see on a cupcake, and that forms a little crust. It then comes off in about 6 or 7 days, and then the tattoo is faded. And often it fades about 20 to 25% per treatment. So what I tell people is, number one, it takes a lot longer to get a tattoo off than it does to get it on.
Right.
Number two, it costs a lot more to get it off than get it on. And that will take multiple sessions. So this will probably take between 3 and 8 treatments to remove. The cost depends on the size of the actual tattoo and the colors, but generally can run anywhere from $150 to $500 a treatment.
Now, does this work on all parts of the body?
Well, you have to be very careful. We have done tattoo removal on almost everywhere, including cosmetic eyeliner and eyelid liner, but you really need to protect the eye from the laser energy. And then it should be done only by a specialist, like a dermatologist or a plastic surgeon, with a lot of experience in tattoo removal. Okay, you did really well, Melanie. You're all ready to go.
Thank you so much.
Well, look at here. It's been several treatments later, and Melanie, what do you think so far?
I love it. I'm getting excited that I can go back to wearing bikinis and not having a huge tattoo on my back.
All right, great. And Dr. Mulholland?
I've been very happy with the progress Melanie's had. She's had 6 treatments, and we're about 60% faded. I would anticipate 3 to 4 more treatments till she's almost completely rid of all evidence of her tattoo.
That's great.
If you look now, even along a lot of the borders of the shield, almost 90% of the pigment's gone. So the last few treatments, we're really going to focus on the center of the tattoo as well as its margins. And I anticipate Melanie's going to be very, very happy.
All right. You know, I don't want to sound like I'm not hip or anything like that, but why would you do that? There's temporary tattoos to do now.
There's some beautiful temporary techniques.
Yeah, there is. Okay, so really, the cost, let's just say the average cost of a tattoo is, what we think?
Depends if it's professionally done or an amateur tattoo. Between $1,500, and the elaborate ones can cost up to $10,000 to get them on.
Okay, all right. And it takes more to take it off.
Usually triple to quadruple the price to get it off as to get it on.
Okay. And so, and of course it takes, like, she's not finished, as you said. She's got another, how many visits?
Probably another 4 visits separated by 6 weeks. So if you add it all up, 10 visits separated by 6 weeks, it's over a year.
Right.
For a little 15-minute, sometimes drunken decision to get something on.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like that commercial. I don't know what it is. For me, it's probably for a beer commercial. And the guy feels pretty good about it. He wakes up, he's a little hungover, looks in the mirror, he goes, oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. He walks away, and in the mirror is a big tattoo on his back because he had no idea. But seriously, it's a lot of money to do, more money to take off, and more money, too, if it's got color in the ink, or is that what I'm trying to say?
There's certain colors now. Tattoo, for some reason, tattooing is very popular right now.
Yes.
For the life of me, I don't know why. You're given one body and all this beautiful skin.
Don't ask why. You're removing it and making money.
I know,
all right. Okay.
Prevention is the best removal technique.
That's right. That's right.
Don't do it in the first place.
Yeah.
But then when you have Melanie Griffith and Antonio Banderas exchanging tattoos, it becomes a sexy thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's not very sexy when you have to have it off over a year. And a lot of young people get it done, not really. Remember, if you're going to tattoo your body, it might be with you for the rest of your life. How often do we feel so strongly about something that we want it permanently on our skin forever?
Well, let me talk about Ann Heche and Ellen DeGeneres. And I know Ann's in town, so Ann, I think you have a good sense of humor. Ellen had My Annie on her bum. And to get it removed, my partner said, just put an F and put My Fanny. And then you're saving money. So sometimes these things can be worked out a little bit, okay? Save yourself some money. There you go. So just, thank you. I'll tell them you like that. But the thing is, it's more painful to take it off than to put it on, right? It just looks just awful.
It does hurt, but actually this client had some topical freezing cream on, and you wear it for about an hour, and it literally doesn't hurt much at all.
Okay.
But it's just the process. You know, you have to focus every 6 weeks for a year on removing something that you don't feel strongly about. Bob becomes John, and you either put an X through it or you get it removed.
That's right.
So I would say it's so popular now, just for the crowd out there, be careful that what you put on you really believe in.
Yeah.
That you want.
And you have to be careful who you go to when you put it on in the first place, because you have to go to somebody who's quite reputable.
Dirty needles, hepatitis C, HIV, all those things are potential contaminants during the treatment.
Okay, now also during the show today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some befores and afters.
Right. I thought I'd do that because this is part
I want
way.
to see that,
And you can see at the end of a 10 treatment process what could happen,
well,
and the multicolored ones are more difficult.
Okay, well, we've got a couple of pictures to show you. So now that's just the black ink, so it's all right.
That's the black ink. So the black and greens are easier to remove with the current laser technology we have. And so after 10 to 12 treatments, I would say at least 50% of people get over 95% removal.
Wow. Okay. So that's it?
It does leave an area that's lighter than surrounding skin. It never tans as well as the original skin.
Okay.
But people are really ecstatic at the end of their treatment.
My goodness. I mean, that's great. That's a real after. That's for sure. Show me another picture of it before.
A little more difficult. You have a yellow and orange beak with some variegated color inside this elaborate bird. And we need to use often 2 or 3 laser systems to attack each of those colors. But you can get nice results. Again, so you can still see a green hue on the after. So about 10%
just a little bit,
remains,
just a little bit. Okay, just to keep the pictures up for a minute. This one, what, $4,000 to put on maybe? Maybe less. I don't know anything about that.
Probably $2,500.
Okay.
That's quite a lot.
How much to remove that?
Probably about $8,000.
There you go, right there. You know. So make sure that you really think about what you're doing and where you're doing it before you actually have it done.
That's not all up front. You pay over a year and a half.
Over a year and a half.
It's still a sizable investment to get it off.
Yeah.
And you want to get it off professionally and
you
done
do.
well.
You do. You're going to stick around because we're going to take some cosmetic surgery and cosmetic questions for Dr. Steve. So stay with us. And the phone number 416-870-7716, 1-800-295-LINE. We'll be back right after this. That's really something, huh? Mulholland is with us today. Cosmetic surgery is what we're talking about, and Sherry is on the phone. Hello, Sherry.
Hi.
What's your question for Dr. Steve Mulholland?
I was just wondering, I have large upper arms, and can you get liposuction done on that?
Can you?
Are you young, Sherry?
I'm 32.
Oh, very young, absolutely. Yes, liposuction of the upper arm from the elbow to the armpit is probably the technique of choice. And the skin at that age generally recoils and snaps back nicely, very small incision. So it's probably the best procedure for you if it's something that exercise and weight loss and repeated dieting won't help you with.
And can you tell me, what's the ballpark
Yeah, I was going to ask that too.
money?
I think it depends on which physician you select. Probably the range would be anywhere from $1,500 to $8,000.
So do you recommend then if something like that is done, that they've done the diet and the exercise to a certain point, because there's only so much you can do? And then I ask this, okay, you're going to put out that money out, which is, a lot of money. And then is there a big chance of it coming back even if you stick with your diet and your exercise?
Great questions. Number one, I always take a weight history. And if someone cycles 15 pounds, I don't do any liposuction, because in a year and a half they're going to be back. And they'll be unhappy. They say, see, it came back. They step on the scale and they're 8 kilos more.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, I never weigh myself. But that's cause. So I don't operate on cyclers because they're usually unhappy in the long run.
That's really tough to do, though, because most people are, especially women over
I
40.
I don't operate on as many people.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'd rather do that than have someone who you know is going to be unhappy. So if you lose it, those fat cells are gone in the biological waste bucket and will never come back. So if you don't gain weight, if you maintain a certain consistency, it will be a long-term permanent result if you do gain weight.
Okay.
Some will come back to the fat cells that are there. They're hungry, they want to eat up the calories, and some will go elsewhere. So the two biggest myths are after lipo, if you gain weight, it goes whoosh, right back to where you lost it from the lipo. Not true. It goes there and everywhere else. The other myth is it goes everywhere else but where you lipoed. Both are wrong. It's just a weight gain predisposition to what you had before.
Okay. Jackie, hi.
Hi.
You have a question for Steve?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
I'm just over 50 and I don't mind any other signs of aging except for the upper lip. There's two, I call them cracks, where your lipstick goes, and I've tried all the products, fill-ins, don't run, anything.
Oh, these little things that go.
Yeah.
Don't do a close-up thing.
Most of them work for the morning, but sometime in the afternoon I'll catch myself in the mirror and there the lipstick will have gone into those. So my question is there, besides collagen injections, which I am wary of, is there any kind of surgical procedure where they'll cut your lip line and put it back up where it needs to be so you don't get the cracks?
It's a good question, Jackie, and a common problem. These vertical lip lines, often people don't mind Isaac Newton allowing things to fall, but those vertical lip lines, they basically tell people you're a smoker or you purse your lips or you're somehow very obsessive because you're always doing that, which may not be true.
No,
and
I don't smoke and I'm quite happy.
And that's why, because what you're projecting doesn't reflect who you are.
Right.
Surgery for those lines is probably a little too invasive. Collagen you mentioned, there's some new injectables that go up under those lines that last for a very long time. Articol.
What's very long? What's very long?
Years. Articol is one product.
Okay.
A little bit of Botox on either side of the line puts the muscle to sleep. And then there's other techniques to build up collagen that don't involve surgery. Surgical lip lifts that you're talking about will leave scarring that you'd be unhappy with. And the injectable fillers that last years now are so much more satisfying.
What if you don't like that? Let's just say after you have that done and then you get it injected and you just feel, you know, it's too much.
Yes.
What do you do?
Well, you're right. You want to avoid that Goldie Hawn First Wives Club look.
Yes.
You know, where,
yes. That was great, yeah.
And so what I recommend with people's lips, because they're so much a part of your central face, is we just sneak up on them. We do a little bit at a time, nothing wrong with that. Come back, repeated visits rather than all at once.
What's the time lapse on that? So you go in for, what, 20 minutes to little injections?
20 minutes, come back 12 weeks later.
12 weeks later?
And usually just twice is all that's required.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3 times. And if people say, no, I want big lips, then I'll say, well, let's not go permanent injectable. Let's go temporary.
Yeah, you have
try
to
on your lips, walk around, try them on, and then come back and we'll go something long term. You don't want to have big lips that you can't get rid of.
No, that's true. That's true. I have so many lines, but it's daytime, and I can't say that. Okay, Rebecca, hello there.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. What can we do for you today?
I was just wondering about dark circles under the eyes. I'm only 23, and I kind of have them, and I was wondering, like, what you can do to get rid of them.
Good question, yeah.
They have been very frustrating in the past, and often people who have dark lines, it's hereditary. There's a component, often Mediterranean background or darker skin types will be prone to them. Although, like me, a Celtic North European gets dark circles as well.
Right.
2 reasons: venous congestion or blood trapped in those lower lids or too much pigment, and often photofacial techniques and some intense pulse light or laser will fade them significantly. So again, at 22, 23, often don't need surgery. It's very rare at that young age that there's actually fat accumulations that would need to be removed. So a simple laser technique.
So because she is so young, she can still have it done, but it's the laser that she would go after.
Usually, yes.
And it would be a couple of visits with some time in between.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's different with their prices, but, you know, I mean, sometimes we have to budget for these things.
$2,500 probably.
Okay, for the total retail value?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to check. You know what I'm saying? All right. Litsta, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Dr. Steve is here to answer your question.
Hi, Steve. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
I have some minor acne scarring that was a result of acne in my teens.
Right.
I've seen a dermatologist. I've actually had some microdermabrasion performed. about a year ago, and I had an injection. I don't believe it was article, just to test out. It was more of a temporary solution, just on one of them to see if it would lift some of these scarring to the surfaces. And I'm just wondering how, I didn't quite like what occurred, and I'm wondering if there is an alternative method for this acne scarring. It's not severe pox, just occasional little...
Yeah.
I usually divide the acne into active and inactive. If you're inactive, it's either pinpoint, ice pick, or wide. The ice pick scars, there's really not a lot there that works well. The wider scars, combinations of microdermabrasion, laser, and fillers generally works well. You have some complex issues. Why you didn't like it, I'm not sure, but it sounds like you're along the right track.
Okay. I just want to ask you, everything's seasonal with whatever you're talking about, fashion, or this is really a part of fashion, what you look like, who you are. What are people most asking of you these days as far as cosmetic surgery is concerned?
2 age groups. The not old but older group, let's say over 35, had their children. The
knowledgeable group?
The knowledgeable,
Yes.
in the know group.
The experienced group?
Postpartum, had their kids,
Yeah.
and so then it's either face or body. Things are starting to happen that don't reflect their inner beauty.
Yes.
And so it's eyelids, eyes, sometimes cheeks, jowls.
Yeah.
Or it's tummies and breasts that just have been
Gotta lift them up.
destroyed.
Yeah.
By childbirth and breastfeeding. And so, yeah, it's to basically restore me back to some semblance of what I used to be in my early 30s or late 20s.
Well, there's an energy that we have, too. I mean, we're baby boomers. We're fighting. I don't want to, get older, but we want to feel, we're healthier now, I think. And we feel really good. We're more knowledgeable about our bodies, so we want to look like we feel. Yeah. Okay, what's the other age group?
And then the younger age group, it's usually then breasts, liposuction, and lip enhancement.
We've got to talk to those women, don't we? You are who you are, really.
Right.
Gee, you do. You got to be. If you're after 40, then change it what you wanted to be when you were in your 20s. Men? A lot of men?
Men is probably the fastest growing segment, and they're sort of put their toe in the water. Men are kind of wimpy.
What are they doing? So, they're kind of wimpy.
We don't like pain and discomfort. We're not used to that. And so men will dabble initially, some skin care, some hair removal treatments, and then often with cajoling from the significant other, they'll move on to double bags, double chins, and love handles. Those are the 3 most common.
Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks to Steve Mulholland, Dr. Steve. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Very good. Thank you. This month's issue of this...